Staying in Africa, I think it will one day be admitted with shame that it might have been in error to say that AIDS is bad as a disease, very bad, but not quite as bad as condoms are bad, or not as immoral in the same way. I say it in the presence of His grace, and I say it to His face. The preachings of His church are responsible for the death and suffering and misery of millions of His brother and sister Africans, and He should apologize for it. He should show some shame. For condemning my friend Stephen Fry for his nature, for saying you couldn't be a member of our church. You're born in sin. He's not being condemned for what he does, he's being condemned for what he is. You're a child made in the image of God. Oh, no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman. It's obscene. And it comes from a clutch of hysterical, sinister virgins who've already betrayed their charge in the children of their own church. For shame. For shame.
Hello, everybody.
Hi!
I miss that man.
Me too, man.
Yeah, I think we say that every time that we use him for an intro.
Yeah. Well, what a great, prolific speaker, writer, thinker.
And someone who just doesn't give a shit what other people think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that, too.
As far as what they think about him, I mean,
definitely.
Clearly he had a huge problem with people thinking...
Wrongly.
Yeah, about religious bullshittery, but... Yeah, he's sorely missed for sure. I like Christopher Hitchens. Well, welcome to the Godless Rebelution, everybody. I'm Dan Ellis. Matt. Oh, there's the meow from Matt. And we've got once again we've got Christopher Reed in the office.
Hi, everybody.
Studio basement room here.
I'll keep coming if they keep inviting me.
On the podcast with us this week.
I don't often get to sit face to face with Dan on the show.
Well, you did once before when you had
but
to
not
work
often.
the board. Yeah, not very often. And Ryan is out communing with nature this week.
Ryan and his tattoos are canyoneering.
doing some canyoneerings in his Earth Destroyer. Mm-hmm. I tease him for that, but I think he said it gets better gas mileage than the last thing he had.
Yeah, and the same as your car.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
think actually his might get a little better than my car.
Yeah.
I think he said it gets like 22, 23.
Holy shit.
I get like 21 in my car. Just under 21.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Sweet.
Welcome to Car Talk, everybody. So, we're very, very excited tonight. We're going to have Mr. Brian Fields on the show with us in a little bit. He'll be telling us all about PastaCon. Not Aposticon, but PastaCon in Pennsylvania. We're looking forward to having him on here in a little bit. So this whole thing with Hitchens talking about Stephen Fry reminded me of an article that I didn't put in our little link farm here that I'm going to have to go and find.
Sweet. Sweet podcasting.
It was it was a person, a Christian person, who made a video game.
Oh, I remember.
Did you guys see that?
No.
Video game is entitled, I believe, Kill the Faggots.
Uh-huh.
And it was published out on Steam. I don't know if you know what Steam is. You probably know what Steam is. You're a big gamer, right?
I don't know if I'm a big gamer.
Yeah.
I play the games.
You play the games.
I've been into the Far Cry 4 map editor, which is fucking sweet.
I still haven't played the Far Cry 4.
I almost beat it.
The Far Cry 4. I sound like an old man.
I almost beat it, and then I discovered map editor, and I haven't been back to my campaign, so it's fun.
Did you know you can actually win the game in the first, 20 minutes? No. It's one of those. It's one of those.
They came out with that for Mario 1 and 3, I think, 10 years later too. But
no, it's more like when the guy at the beginning of the game, and this is for those people that have probably played it, tells you to stay here. I'll be right back. If you actually wait for him to come back.
Which guy?
The dictator.
Oh, Pagan?
Yeah.
Okay.
When he tells you, stay here, I'll be right back. If you actually stay there and wait for him to come back, he takes you to the end game.
Oh, no shit.
instead of like jumping out the window and starting to kill people.
Oh, right. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't wait either. I went downstairs.
I like it when games do that. Like, I remember playing Myst back in the day, and you can finish Myst within like the first 3 minutes of the game, or you can go have fun and do all the puzzles.
How do you finish within the first 3 minutes?
Some stupid shit. You got to go into a fireplace, flip around, hit a certain number of buttons, and I looked it up at one point, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to play this game that much.
Have you played Far Cry 4?
For a few minutes.
Okay, but you don't own it?
Yes and no.
Okay. I was just trying to make
I borrowed it from the internet for a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Then I'm like, okay, this is a pretty sweet game. I actually should go out and buy this one.
I was just trying to give you some nerd cred that you knew how to beat it and didn't even own it.
Oh, no, I downloaded it, played it for the first like 20 minutes or so, and I'm like, this is pretty sweet. I'm going to go buy it.
Yeah.
So here you go, internet, have it back. I'm going to go pay for it.
I will release this back into the wild. It was a catch and release play. So anyway, I saw this somewhere else. But I pulled it up on HuffPo here. The headline of this article is "Kill the Faggot Game Briefly Uploaded to Steam." Article goes on to say that an obscenely anti-LGBT video game uploaded to the digital game store Steam this week has drawn widespread condemnation after encouraging players to shoot gay and transgender people to earn points. The game, called Kill the Faggot, is modeled after a first-person shooter. Players earn points for killing gay characters and receive a bonus if they hit a transgender person, which prompts a message reading "Transgender Kill" to flash on the screen. Players are penalized for shooting straight targets, and during gameplay a voiceover repeats statements like "straight pride" and "whoops, I just dropped the soap."
Wow.
Everything about this is making me very uncomfortable and a little bit ragey, right?
Looks like Lethal Enforcers.
Yeah, I mean,
Some people might remember that game.
It's a fairly rudimentary game. The game was uploaded early Monday and has since been removed from the Steam website. The URL now redirects to an error page. The project was created and uploaded by Randall Herman, a California video game developer and Christian shoe promoter.
Christian shoe promoter.
They died for.
Yeah.
They believe a shoe that died for our sins.
Well,
What the hell is that? What?
it's all about saving souls, right?
Oh, God. Nice.
Ba-dum-bum. So he was able to get the game.
I'm guessing they're cross trainers.
Nice.
That one took me a while, but
He was able to get the game on Steam through the company's Greenlight initiative, which allows wannabe developers to submit their own creations to gain exposure. Herman told the outlet he made the game by himself and that it was removed from the site within 2 hours before calling the gaming community overly sensitive and easily offended.
yeah, really, when GTA 5 is the best-selling game of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're easily offended.
Yeah. Before Herman's work was removed, comments were filled with angry users calling for more rigorous measures to monitor community uploads. Greenlight currently requires a $100 fee for users in an effort to keep spam and joke submissions off the platform. Greenlight's terms of service ban any, quote, threats of violence or harassment, even as a joke, and inappropriate or offensive content. Which, I mean, that's all very subjective, right? But anyway, clearly this game was way over the line. Valve, Steam's parent company, did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Huffington Post.
Just interesting there's a little screen here that for you people listening that lists at the game over screen. It says, and I hate using these words, but gay fag homos killed, transgender freaks killed, and then straight people killed.
Yeah,
that is really telling.
Yeah, interesting psychology. Yeah.
As if homosexuals and trans people aren't even people,
or that they're not normal like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, heterosexuals are referred to as people, where trans people are freaks and homosexuals are homos. Nowhere does it say that they're even human beings.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting and he doesn't even consistently capitalize the same words on that page even.
Oh.
And
good catch, Herr Nazi.
yeah, but I mean I'm just saying if you're somebody that wants to be this critical,
yeah.
I'll fucking tear you apart too. Like what he's saying is anyone who's not just like me is fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
Dude.
Bro.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of horseshit, man.
Yep.
So I just saw that Brian tried calling me for some reason. And I don't know why. But anyway, we will be calling him in about half an hour, so I'm not quite sure why he was trying to contact me right now.
We should talk more about that on the show.
Yeah, we should, because everybody's going to find that really, really interesting, I'm sure.
So jump into some news.
Big headline for the week about the shooting in Texas at the Draw Mohammed convention they were having.
Mm-hmm.
Just thought it was fascinating that there's a whole bunch of people coming out in defense of the shooters.
Yeah.
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 Well, we've been seeing that attitude for years, right? And most recently, we've seen it in Baltimore and Ferguson.
Yeah,
people coming out in defense of the shooters.
Well, and it just
nothing.
Makes,
not a thing. Wow. All right.
Sorry, I'm typing out a message here. What did you say?
Nope. Go on.
And I'm trying to link things in my brain. I'm like,
I'm slow and I'm typing at the same time.
Oh, Ryan, come back.
Yeah, Ryan can be multitasking, and I'm like, oh, wait, I'm chewing. Don't talk to me.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. Anyway, so
no, I mean, who was it that they had on Bill Maher's show that was saying that if you come out against Islam, you're racist? It was Affleck.
Oh, Ben Affleck.
The Ben Affleck. Ooh, some nice thunder.
And I'm just tired of people getting on either atheist case or other people's case when you attack a thought system, a belief system, that all of a sudden it's something tied with racism.
So we said Ben Affleck, and there was thunder outside. That's just, I want to...
Yeah.
He is Batman.
Well, he's actually Bat Dare Mandevil, so...
Bat Dare Mandevil?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys watch the new Daredevil series on Netflix?
6 episodes in.
I like it.
It's really good.
It starts out a little rough. Like
it was hard getting through those first 2.
Yeah, I would say the first 3 were a little rough for me, mainly because of what's
I was waiting for Fisk.
What's his partner's name? Froggy.
Foggy. Foggy Bear.
Yeah, he's not
Foggy
a good
Bear.
Well,
it's a
there's
not
this extremely attractive lady that works at the law firm he used to intern at that he dated, and she calls him that, and that was on a recent episode, and it's just been in my head ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, he is not a great actor.
He's
or
a
at
wet
least,
blanket too.
Or at least not in this role. Like it's either that he's not suited for this role, or he's just not a very good actor, or both.
We are talking about a superhero show, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not.
I
It's
know
not
you have
quite
a problem with
superhero-y though.
superhero stuff.
It's a dude that can take a punch.
I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with them. I'm just not fucking 12.
The show's not meant for 12-year-olds. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not meant for 12-year-olds.
When Vincent D'Onofrio does something with a car door to somebody. You haven't seen that yet, have you?
Oh, no, I have.
Oh, okay.
I watched the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I saw a couple people be like, so I'm really liking the show a whole lot, but there was this one scene with a car door.
Yeah.
And I just don't know that I can watch it.
Hey, bros, do you remember how the Patriots won the Super Bowl this year?
Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
No.
I lost money on that game.
Did the Patriots win the Super Bowl?
I know Ohio State won.
Did they? Did they really?
You're not asking me seriously.
No.
I was trying to change the
Sports.
subject to something,
Sports balls.
something that could even lose more fans than I've already done tonight.
So Islam.
Yeah, there was somebody in the Atheists of Utah group who I think we were talking pre-podcast, and he'd made a comment that I think his initial comment for his post was, well, I guess I've outed myself as an atheist on my personal timeline now, and I saw that and I was like, yay, awesome, good for you. This is my internal thought process, right? I read that and I'm like, oh, all right, great. And then I read what he'd actually posted out on his wall, and he basically said that the people who were doing the Draw Muhammad contest there in Galveston deserved what they got. Like, they deserved to be attacked because they were poking a bear.
Yeah. An Islamic bear.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I think somebody on the thread even commented like, "Oh, sure, yeah, because comparing Muslims to animals is a perfect, comparison, as if that's a thing you should do." But yeah, I mean, it's just victim blaming, Well, they shouldn't have been drawing that cartoon. Well, she shouldn't have been drinking so heavily or wearing those clothes. Well, those gay people shouldn't hold hands and kiss each other in public. They're just asking to be stoned to death.
Yep. That darker skinned guy shouldn't have turned around and ran when he saw cops.
Yeah.
Right.
What are they thinking? They should know better. It's blaming victim.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and even if these guys did this convention and it was an asshole-ish thing to do, which I don't see it that way. I understand how people would get that, and it's kind of them poking.
I think
like we
clearly,
said, poking at people's faith.
I think
and stuff
clearly
like that.
the organizers were assholes. Like
Yeah.
they're just bigoted assholes. But I don't have a problem with them holding a contest to draw Muhammad and awarding things for that. I have a problem with a lot of the other things that Pam Geller has said.
Yeah,
because she's a pretty terrible human being.
I take part every year in the Draw Muhammad Day, and I can't draw worth a shit. But I still do it just to go, ha ha! First Amendment, damn it!
Exactly, and I think that's the point. Like, there are ideas out there which are just that, and they're infringing on our rights to do certain things, say certain things, act in certain ways. They want to restrict our ability to fucking draw.
Yeah, no belief is above mockery.
Right. And so having an assembly of people who will get together and exercise their right to draw whatever the fuck they want, I think is a great thing, because there's got to be somebody out there pushing back a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like I said, no belief is above mockery, and if it's a shitty belief, it deserves to be mocked. It behooves us. We should be compelled to mock such beliefs.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous.
If your beliefs compel you to believe that you need to kill people for drawing a fucking cartoon, that shit should be derided and mocked openly and as often as possible.
Right, and that's hardly the worst thing about your religion.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you worship a neurotic epileptic and pedophile is not even the worst thing about you guys.
Warmonger, yeah.
That rose to heaven on a horse, a winged horse with a human face.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What? Oh, fuck! I was watching Richard Dawkins, that Thug Life,
greatest hit, yeah,
that
the Thug Life one,
where he's talking to the guy. Now I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt here, and of intelligence, and say that clearly you don't believe that Muhammad actually rode a winged horse to heaven. And something else I can't.
Why wouldn't I believe this?
I can't even remember what the other thing was. So clearly, I'm going to give you the benefit of thinking that you're more intelligent to think something like that. And the guy's like, "Oh no, I believe that."
Awesome.
Yeah. The victim blaming going on there. I started making comments on that post like, first, I was going through my thought process and I was, yay, he came out, great, that's awesome, congratulations, this is what I'm thinking, and I'm reading through his post, and, you could almost hear the record scratch in the background, as the needles pulled off it, like, whoa, what the fuck is he talking about here? And so then I just started asking a bunch of questions, and, besides the initial comment that he made in the initial post, I was really surprised to see a few other people come to his defense and saying, "Oh yeah, the fucking people totally deserve it. You know that the Muslims are going to be upset about this, and you're just making fun of them for the hell of it, and you should be expecting that."
Why would you do it if you knew that's what might happen?
So, is this person affiliated with any religion?
Not anymore. No, I mean it was in the atheist.
So it's an atheist person.
Yes,
someone that identifies as atheist.
So their personal beliefs and ideas are contrary to Islam and therefore offensive.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that every Muslim is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you're poking a bear by just saying that their belief is wrong.
Yeah. Don't dress like you want to be killed.
That's a very good point, yeah. I hadn't brought that one up.
Well, and his very existence is that he's an apostate, and that he is an infidel, and
well, he wouldn't be an apostate, right?
Well, because
he
wasn't
an apostate. He would
be an infidel.
He would be an infidel,
not a kafir, but an infidel. Yeah.
So he still would be put to death if he didn't convert.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So he's poking the bear.
Poking the bear.
The big,
you better go ahead and convert.
Hairy Mohammed bear. Yeah, go convert.
Roar,
or else
that
you're being
9-year-old?
offensive. Then you should expect to be killed.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't
Fuck
get behind
that
that. And he keeps defending it like the very last comment I saw from him was still trying to defend this initial position. And I'm like, I don't know how it could be more clear that position is just fundamentally wrong.
Well, and it's the same bad thinking that we had when the Charlie Hebdo office was shot up, and the Pope says, well, if someone was to say something bad about my family, I would punch him in the face. And it's like, like you're the vicar of Jesus, and you're talking about hitting a guy out of violence out of anger. That wasn't
in his official capacity to receive revelation. That was just him speaking.
That was him speaking as a man.
That was without the PR department.
Is this the LDS Church defense that we're? Should we call that a fallacy? The LDS Church defense. That whenever they say something really fucking outrageous that nobody actually thinks is helpful, then they're not really acting in their official capacity as prophet, seer, and revelator. Mm-hmm. They're just flawed human beings.
That was me talking as my first name and last name, not first initial, middle name, last name. For people that don't understand the Utah joke there, most of the guys that are in the higher level of the church, they tend to go by their first initial, middle name, last name. Mm-hmm. So, never mind. I've just beaten the joke to death. Hey, there's a clown.
Nice one, Chris.
Hey, that wasn't very nice.
Fuck you, clown.
Nice one, X.
My name is... I don't have red nose. Well, I probably do. I've been drinking. So, there's Mr. Josh Duggar.
Boo.
Yeah, super boo.
Who says that Christians who aren't allowed to discriminate against gays are victims of discrimination themselves. I love this picture. I'm like, yeah, buddy.
Was he halfway through a sneeze?
I smoke 2 joints in the morning. I smoke 2 joints at night.
Dude, I think we pissed off Zeus somehow.
He's throwing lightning bolts from Olympus.
A lot of thunder and lightning. Hopefully the power will stay on.
Oh, right.
Because
you haven't bought your Tesla battery yet? God.
No, I haven't. That looks really cool, though. So the story on Raw Story says that reality television star Josh Duggar believes Christians should enjoy a special right to discriminate against LGBT people or be made victims of discrimination themselves. The star of TLC's 19 Kids and Counting.
Is he a star?
No, he's not really a star. He's a star in the same way that fucking...
The little people that make chocolates and
he's a reality TV person, and he's not even... Yeah, anyway.
Not even germane to the story. I mean, okay, he's the oldest. Oh, all right. He was the first to get married.
Yeah.
I know way too much about this family.
So apparently, and I didn't know this until just now, that he works for the anti-gay hate group Family Research Council.
Boo.
And he says that Christians were being forced into silence on social issues such as same-sex marriage, reported CNS News.
Here's the thing about
same-sex marriage. How are they being forced into silence? Clearly, he's talking
he's allowed to
in
talk
this
about it.
fucking article. He's not being forced into silence.
Front page of Raw Story and like many other websites, front page story. That doesn't tell me that you're being silenced. If you're being silenced, they would have shunned you and not have talked about anything that you said.
Yeah, they would not have... Holy shit.
It's scary outside, people.
There's a whole lot of thunder and lightning. Jesus.
Wow.
That's only because we're doing the show. Of course, this hasn't happened for the previous 47 episodes, so I'm sure it was the 48th. God's like, okay, guys, 47's fine, but,
I don't like that X guy on the show.
That one past year anniversary episode, we're going to have to do something about that.
And I'm going to do it with a natural method.
I'm not gonna make it clear that it was a miracle. Obvious. What are you doing? So
I feel like David Cross suddenly.
Cross-eyed.
Awesome.
Right now, it goes on to quote Duggar, and it says, right now in America, there's an agenda to silence people of faith, those who hold a dissenting opinion. I'm not trying to silence you. We're just trying to get equal treatment for LGBT people. Not saying that you can't say whatever stupid shit that falls out of your fucking suckhole, because that shit happens all the time.
Yeah, but we're going to tell you you're stupid.
Yeah. That's not what America was founded on. America was founded on respect.
Nope.
Tolerance. And really not discriminating against people based on their religious convictions. Fuck you, Mr. Duggar. Duggar, the eldest of 19 children and affiliated with the Quiverful movement, described his Christian views as mainstream orthodoxy. quote, Orthodox Christianity in general and all faiths really ascribes to the fact
how he sounds?
that the family is central to everything, he said. When you look at our economy right now, and you look at all the other issues, national security, immigration, all these issues that we face in our country, it all goes back to when you have strong families, you have a strong economy, and you have a strong nation.
You sound like a kid bearing his testimony in a freaking Mormon church.
Things to be true.
That's kind of how I'm picturing this.
Man's crossing his arms and looking down.
I've never...
I know Joseph Smith was a true prophet.
I love my mom and dad. Yeah, I've never fucking watched the show, so I have no idea what he actually sounds like. But he said that the upcoming U.S. Supreme Court ruling on marriage equality was fundamental to preserving the bedrock of family life. Only one other country in the entire world has ever redefined marriage, and that was Brazil. When they... This guy is so fucking stupid. When they stepped in through the court system to do that, Duggar claimed. He's clearly so fucking stupid. He doesn't know that there are other countries that have done this.
And he's not aware that all of the land masses have always had gay people and it's been totally fine and not even illegal, or it hasn't been fine. But either way, it's not. It hasn't been a. It's not a new thing.
Isn't same-sex marriage legal in our neighbors just to the north?
In America's hat?
Yes.
I think so.
I believe so. I'm not sure.
And the UK as well, right?
Yeah, but I mean.
UK,
Sweden,
Spain.
North
yeah,
Europe.
tons of European countries.
Australia.
So, it goes on and says, in fact, 18 countries worldwide legally approved same-sex marriage through legislative action or court filings.
Yeah, you see?
And two others, Mexico and the United States, yay us, recognize same-sex unions in at least some regions. He compared the case to the Roe v. Wade decision that overturned state bans on legal abortion.
There's apples and oranges for you.
Well, I would actually compare it to that, too, in that what the Christians wanted in both cases was unconstitutional.
Yeah, based solely on their religious beliefs.
Yeah, so very good job in comparing that, because I think you're right.
I think that in 1973, the court had another decision that they said we're going to decide
getting higher
this once and for all. And Roe v. Wade, when that was handed down, it only began the debate that still continues today, and obviously we know where that issue stands now, Duggar said. All of the Americans understand that this issue is not going away. So I think that we have to realize this is only the beginning of a larger discussion. And what's really at stake here is the American family, he added. He urged Christians to speak with civility when they called for legal discrimination against LGBT people. It's very clear that this is a debate that's not going to go away, and I think what we have to do is we have to come to this and we have to talk with civility. Duggar
and discrimination.
We have to go out there and we have to be clear in what we believe, and we have to be firm in saying, look, this is where I stand.
And go back to your cave, you bunch of gay folks.
So basically what he's saying is...
Flag pin.
We can actually play the video.
So basically he's saying we want the legal right to continue discriminating, and we don't want to have to hear about it from you.
Yeah.
We should be civil, meaning we want to discriminate freely, so don't fucking tell us if we're being assholes about it. That's what he wants.
Yeah. And apparently,
What a fucking moron.
Allowing gay people to be married is the same thing as telling him that he can't say whatever he wants. You can still say whatever the stupid fucking stuff you want.
Right.
Dumbass.
But he's upset that what he says doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, I know, but
he's
upset about
completely fucking irrelevant.
Yeah, but he's upset about that.
On some level, I get bothered when I even see stories like this. Like, why the fuck are people even giving him airtime? Who the fuck cares what this asshole has to say about anything?
Right.
And so then we're going to talk about him on our podcast.
Yeah, well.
But I mean, honestly, fuck him.
He deserves all the mocking that comes his way.
All the fucks I can give are...
Well, I find it fascinating that people think that in a year or so after the Supreme Court comes back, and I really hope they do, with all the arguments that I've heard, it sounds like it's going to be...
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Come back in favor of legalization of it all. But
I'm thinking it's going to be like a 7-2 vote. 7-2, 6-3.
Let's see. Yeah, probably 6-3. Clarence Thomas will say no.
It'll be Thomas...
Scalia.
It'll be Thomas and Scalia clearly will
Roberts
vote
will vote
against it.
for.
You think
I
so?
believe. I think Roberts is finally
Roberts
starting
will.
to go. Man, you guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think Roberts is. I mean, he's Chief Justice. He's looking at this is the Roberts Court. How is he going to be voting?
Well, and who really
Chief
wants
Justice.
that on their to be their legacy when they're gone? Like I was all for slavery.
Right. Well,
I mean, it's
we'll
not
see.
quite the same thing, but I mean, still.
Well, I mean, no, it's not quite. I would say it's a little bit more similar to the '60s civil rights
indeed.
movement, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
But who wants their name to go into the book of history? Going, wow, this person was obviously not in touch with what was going on in the world at this time.
Was totally fucking backward on the wrong side of history.
Yeah, because we know that Catholics care so much about that.
Yeah. Well, to
Dude,
get back
you're
to
applying rationale to fucking religious people.
Well, I mean, clearly, some religions do care, and I would say, including the Catholic Church. But I mean, when you look at other religions like the LDS Church, who clearly was on the wrong fucking side of history as far as blacks holding
times.
the
And then whitewash
priesthood,
it.
and saying that black people are cursed and all of that
Less valiant.
yeah, all of that
everything
kind of
else,
shit.
yeah.
And so clearly they later feel ashamed about it or realize, oh,
No, it's not shame.
that's really bad fucking, yeah, it's
It's
probably
PR.
not shame. It's really bad
It's
fucking
PR.
PR for the church.
If it was
yeah.
shame, they would have changed the doctrine.
Oh, yeah.
It's PR because they're saying to the world, here's what we're going to do for now. But then they turn to the members, we still know this is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like polygamy. They've
But,
never changed any of that.
Yeah, but I mean, they still change it, so they make a change, and then that kind of ripples through the congregation slowly. But with the LDS Church, everything is way slow, and I don't know how they're ever going to get themselves out of this stance
Prop 8
against
mentality.
stance against marriage equality. I mean,
Oh.
if they want to,
Same way they've always done.
If they want to have any kind
Revelation.
of relevancy in the future, they're going to have to do something about it.
Well, they'll do something about it. But I mean, if you think the height of the civil rights movement was 65, 68, and they changed their policy 78. So they were 10 years behind on that too. And that seems pretty fucking obvious. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
So, we can expect a 10 to 12 year delay, I think.
Do you think it'll be that long in the internet age? The internet age,
No.
the 24-hour news cycle. I mean, everybody has all of that information available to them now. The 60s, you had to watch your nightly news for that kind of stuff. Read
Yeah,
the
maybe
newspaper
so.
every day. It's not information traveling at the speed of light all across the globe. So
Yeah, but we are still talking about men who witnessed the pyramids being built. So I don't know how quickly they're going to catch up to all this.
Well, and we're also talking about there's a lot of bad information out there in the information age as well. It's not all relevant, not all correct.
And we're talking about a
Yeah.
whole bunch of people who are obviously not skeptical.
And
Yeah.
giant people that live in a giant fucking echo chamber.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
giant
really go
echo
outside.
chamber, giant bubble.
They don't go outside for their news. They don't go to other sources for things. They don't trust the science behind things. They don't trust.
Yeah.
They don't trust
Well,
politicians.
and that's
They don't.
I think that's part of the reason that I'm very outspoken and firebrandy about a lot of things. I know a lot of people have this opinion of, you should just be an atheist and that's fine, and
Keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself and whatever, you can post it on Facebook. Don't challenge people in real life. If somebody says something dumb, just let them go on and be happy and stupid.
What's the harm?
What's the harm? What does it do to you?
That's one of my favorite arguments to bring up with people. What's the harm? Well, let me bring up this website for you. How many
Yeah.
people have died?
Yeah. Yeah, how many
How many children raped?
Yeah, what's the harm in people just not vaccinating?
that's about.
Yeah.
That argument kills me, and it's why I do challenge people, and it's not like I do it to everybody all the time. I'm not always looking for an argument, but if I hear somebody say something really obviously stupid and wrong, 9 times out of 10 I'm going to say something about it. I'm not just going to smile and nod. I do smile and nod a lot, but I'm getting old and my hearing is starting to fade, I think, and every now and then I'm like, fuck, I hope nobody said something really stupid to me, and I'm just grinning and nodding. But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that I do challenge people a lot of the time, because I don't want to have anybody have even the impression that I tacitly endorse or implicitly,
Right.
that I think that type of thinking or view is okay in the least.
Agreed.
And I want them to know that they are wrong in thinking those types of things.
Or at least to force them to put up a good case.
Yeah.
And then let them feel stupid for not being able to.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a little bit of a break. And on the other side of the break, we'll have Mr. Brian Fields on the line with us. Hang on, everybody.
Planes fly, cars drive, computers compute.
It's an inductive argument.
If you base medicine on science, you cure people. If you base the design of planes on science, they fly. If you base the design of rockets on science, they reach the moon. It works, bitches.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Know what I'm saying?
Our philosophy at New Scientist is this. Science is interesting, and if you don't agree, you can fuck off.
Give me my money in stacks and lace my bitches with Don figures. Real niggas fingers on nickel-plated non-triggers.
To accept that humans evolved from apes.
Yeah, probably. From Neanderthals, yes. Whether...
From Neanderthals?
Probably.
Why from Neanderthals?
Well, who else would you suggest?
Regulators. You regulate any stealing of his property. We're damn good, too. But you can't be any geek off the street.
Do you actually believe in your Muslim faith? Do you believe that Muhammad split the moon in two? Do you believe that Muhammad flew to heaven on a winged horse, for example? I pay you the compliment of assuming that you don't.
No, I do. I believe in miracles.
You believe that?
Yes.
You believe that Muhammad went to heaven on a winged horse?
Yes, I believe in God. I believe in miracles. I believe in revelation. I mean, the point here is that let's assume I'm wrong, Richard. I'm wrong.
Let's.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
Having looked at a lot of your work, I'm curious, what star sign are you?
You serious?
6 million ways to die. Choose one.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. How you doing, Brian?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. What's shaking, man?
Oh, not much. Just hanging out.
Yeah. Well, long time no chat. I haven't heard from you since the convention, which really wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, we had a couple things going on this month, but just doing what I'm doing.
I still blame you for getting me thoroughly trashed that night at the convention. You broke my brain.
It's a talent.
You and Bill. Seriously, I couldn't think the next day, man. I felt like I had damaged myself. Like I went.
Well, what's an atheist convention for?
Well, I went and I was trying to talk to Trace, Bill, you, and Frank, and I sat down and I tried getting a couple things out, and finally I turned to Frank and I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm sorry. I drank way too much last night, and I feel like I've hurt myself." And then I had to get on the Facebooks and tell everybody that you were the reason for it. You and Bill.
No, I think you can blame the fireball.
You can't blame the fireball. It was just an innocent bystander.
It was just asking for it.
Well, it shouldn't have dressed like it wanted to be dressed.
I think you're muted.
Yep, still muted.
There we go. So anyway, wanted to bring you on the show tonight to talk to you a little bit about PastaCon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So how many years have you been doing PastaCon?
This will be our fourth.
Oh yeah, is it 4 years consecutive?
Yeah.
Well, you're the man.
Yeah, our first. Well, yeah, I can tell you about the stories on the air, but yeah, it's our 4th year.
Well, tell me about the stories on the air.
I just wonder if they're as hard to herd as Utah atheists are.
Yeah, is that a problem?
Well, it's we have a small committee that puts the conference together, and then if you build it, they will come, and people come, and we have a good time, and the first year we put it together in 3 months, and I don't recommend doing that.
Yeah.
I about killed myself trying to get that together, but we had a great lineup the first year, though, and it really it all started with Dan Barker and falling into our lap, and then trying to figure out what to do with an event that just had Dan, and then deciding, well, no, we should put together a full conference around him. Mm-hmm. And so then of course we go and get Dave Silverman and a bunch of other people, and it really just kind of fell together, and we were really proud of that, and it went really well. And then the second year we decided we were going to do it in Philadelphia, and I worked with Margaret Downey to put it together, and we had a great show. We had Seth Andrews come out that year, and a whole bunch of other people. We had a full, really full lineup. And third year we had it in Pittsburgh. I took a break, and the Pittsburgh crew put it together, and I with a bit of guidance, and this will be our 4th, and we're coming back to Harrisburg this year. It's where we started, and I'm really excited about that.
So the first one was in Harrisburg, and the first one was in Harrisburg, right?
Right.
And then 2 and 3, were they in Philly?
No, the second one was in Philly. The third was in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
So we tried to move it around the state. So Harrisburg's around the middle of the state. Mm-hmm. So that's where the group I run is located, and then of course we go east for Philadelphia, and then west for Pittsburgh. And the geography of Pennsylvania is such that there's a lot of people don't like to travel to the areas of the state that aren't theirs. So so moving it around means that people get to go out to the conferences generally in their area, although we have people come in from all over the United States. Mm-hmm. It was originally conceived of as a regional conference, but we have a lot of people that come in from out of state as well. And we don't particularly, while we do target some of the program content towards the state, we don't necessarily target it so that people from outside the state can't enjoy themselves and have a good time.
I would imagine. Hey, Brian, this is Matt. I was going to say, I would imagine that in Philadelphia, you're probably pulling a lot from D.C., Virginia, Baltimore, that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, well, and we have a few filter in from even parts farther flung. We get people down from Canada. We get people come in from even as far as the West Coast. I think. I think California is probably as far as they've come, but we do get a pretty good mix of people from all over.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And it's really it's a lot of fun. It's very exciting. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. And this year we're doing we're turning our conference into a service project, and I'm really excited about that. Where people have the atheist conferences, and they put together speakers and have a good time, and that's all great. But we decided we're going to turn this year's conference into an opportunity to do some good for the community as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to have we're raising money right now for 25 cents each. we can feed one person one meal, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to buy meal supplies. They're going to be brought to the conference, and we're going to be packing these meals for food banks all over central Pennsylvania. And so the goal here is to raise $5,000, which will feed 20,000 people, and I'm really excited about it.
Where can our listeners go to donate?
For that, it's GoFundMe.com/atheistsfighthunger. And then you can find out more about the conference at atheistpa.org.
Sweet.
So it's GoFundMe.com/atheistsfighthunger.
I think it's just atheists
Correct.
fight hunger.
Atheists plural, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it's all of us together fighting hunger.
Nice.
And then atheistpa.org, because this is our state, not just Christians or anybody else. It's our state too. So
that's awesome. So how much planning, how far ahead do you start trying to plan and put together the conference each year?
Well, the first year, like I said, we did it in 3 months, and that was a nightmare. I don't ever recommend doing that. If you don't have at least 9 months to a year to plan a conference, I wouldn't suggest it. Not unless you know exactly what you're doing, and even then, no, I wouldn't do it. But we didn't know what we were doing, so that was. But we pulled it off. But most years we planned it about a year out. Our second, each year we've kind of extended the time a little bit. Mm-hmm. So our first year we started planning in June or July. Our second year we started planning in February. Our third year they started planning it shortly right after the end of the second year conference. And this past year it was about the same. We started right after the conference looking for a hotel. Mm-hmm. And that was the first. That's always the first step, is you need to find a venue, and then make a few guesses as to what you're going to be able to accomplish, and then pull it together.
Well, yeah. So I'm looking at the lineup of speakers that you guys have here, and it's a very, very impressive list, man. I mean, you've got Seth Andrews, the Barroom Atheist guys, Bill and Susie, Ben Blanchard, Richard Carrier, Kevin Davis, Matt Dillahunty, David Fitzgerald. Yay! He's just he's such a sweet guy. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Victor,
he's good people. I love it. I like him a lot. Yeah.
Victor Harris, Adriana Higai, George Robb, Chris Johnson, Teresa McBain. Got to hang out with her a little bit at the American Atheist Convention. Amanda Metzges, who's awesome. Maribeth Mooney, Lee Moore, Sarah Moorhead, Mark Nebo, Beth Presswood, Aaron Raw, Sherry Segal, Shelley Segal, Mohammed Syed, and Mandisa. I mean, that's a great lineup of speakers, man. Congratulations. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work, but everybody's in the atheist movement, people. I know that there's this tendency for people to look at these people who are doing such awesome work and think, well, it'd be hard to get all these people to come do something. But that everybody in the movement I've ever worked with has been so friendly, so nice, so easy to work with. It's not hard at all to approach someone and say, hey, look, we're having this event, and can we have you come out? And so it's just a matter of asking, and from that, you can put together something great. And well,
and I think you definitely have. I think this looks like awesome. A great event, and I noticed. So I know I can see the Mark Nebo will be the MC
Gotta come back to
for the conference. Well, it cracks me up. So because apparently before the bios and everything were published on the speakers list, Mark contacted me and he's like, "Hey man, I just want to give you a heads up. I mentioned you. You know, I'm going to be the MC for the PA Atheist and Humanist Convention, and I mentioned you in my bio." And I was like, "Oh yeah, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't remember if he told me what he had said, or if he said that I would just have to check it out." And I think he sent me a link to it, and part of his bio says Mark started the Normalize Atheism campaign and maintains one of the most epic beards east of Dan Ellis. I just thought that was really funny. I love Mark. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He Mark and I have worked on projects before, and it's natural to involve him since he's so close. And the Be Secular people have been working with us for a long time. We've been one of their affiliates for a while, and they've helped us raise some money, and we talk a lot. We're friends, and so it was easy to try to find a way to involve Mark with the conference, and he's I'm really excited to have him as our MC, and Be Secular has helped sponsor some of our program stuff, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, well, and I'm just always so impressed with the things you're doing, with the things that Mark and Shannon are doing, with the things that Sarah's doing. So many of these other people that you have there as speakers on the lineup. That, I mean, you guys seem to do this, and you guys seem to do this almost as a full-time gig, but I know that you don't. Like, I know that you maintain a full-time job while doing all of these other really incredible things. How do you happen to manage your time for that? I mean, do you sleep ever?
Sometimes, occasionally. No, I live on the internet. I mean, my job, my job is such that I'm in front of the computer all day, and then I'm done with my job, and then I start looking at stuff on the web, and I try to stay on top of what's going on in the movement, and try to maintain relationships with other activists, and really, once you do that, you're just part of a community, and it's easy to just reach out and find the resources you need and just put them to good use.
Oh, and yeah. Well, I mean, but it's it's not just that you have a full-time job. You also have a family. You are president of the Pennsylvania Nonbelievers. You're also co-chair of the Secular Coalition there in Pennsylvania, and besides helping to organize the convention there in Pennsylvania, I know that you attend tons of conventions. You're constantly, I've seen you do several different protests and lobbying events and tabling events all over the place. You're a really, really busy guy.
Local director of the Tea Party, it says here.
I'm not sure where it says that, but okay.
Well, if we're talking tea like Earl Grey and Petit Fours and cucumber sandwiches, maybe. But
no, it doesn't say that.
No, I think you're amazing, man. I'm really, really happy, and I don't want it to sound condescending or anything, but I'm really proud of all of the things that you do. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it is what it is. I'm just trying to do what I can. I have we have the summer we one of the things we do for Pennsylvania Nonbelievers is we like to get out in public, and we like to table at different festivals in the area. One of our tabling events coming up Sunday, but we are also we have this riverboat thing we're doing at the end of the month, and what this is, in Harrisburg, there's this riverboat run by a nonprofit called the Pride of the Susquehanna, and they're partially funded by the city of Harrisburg, and they for years have been giving free rides Sunday mornings to churches, church groups. They have a church service every Sunday morning, and like I said, they're partially funded by the city. So a few years ago, we contacted them and we asked them, look, if you guys are giving rides to churches, can we have the same privilege? And they agreed. And so for a while we were doing it.
You didn't have to argue with them at all? That typically... No. When I've tried to contact different organizations for things like that, if I get a response, it's usually a hem and a haw and we'll get back to you. Most of the time I don't even ever hear back from them.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little perseverance, I found. Sometimes you start off friendly and then you have to work up to a heavy-handed letter and then lawyers and stuff like that. But sometimes... you get the small victory where they, or large victory, where up front they say, you know what, you're right, we'll give you a spot. However, they changed their policy over the last couple of years. Well, I wouldn't say changed it, but they neglected to tell us when they were registering openings. And for a couple of years, they had we'd approached them too late. But this year we got a big head start and we got a hold of them and we're rescheduled with them again. And so we're going to do that the May 31st. It'll be their first Sunday of the season doing the rides. We're going to be their first one.
Awesome.
What's the weather like up there in May?
It's actually warming up right now. Sunny and warm and high 70s, low 80s. Pennsylvania is a great place for May. Unless you have allergies.
Or if you don't like tent caterpillars.
Tent caterpillars? What are those?
You've never heard of those?
No.
Well, you're in Harrisburg? I don't know. Maybe that's a little further west than I'm thinking.
What are tent caterpillars?
They build big web-like nests in the trees and eat the shit out of it. They're fucking everywhere
those
in
are
Pennsylvania.
We call them gypsy moths.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they don't have those in the desert out here.
Those are a scourge.
Yes.
They're one of those pests that we keep that our various agencies around the state keep trying to reduce or eliminate.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Have you always been an atheist? Were you raised atheist, or were you raised in any kind of religion?
Nope. I grew up in. I was raised Christian, fundamentalist Christian, and for my teenage years, I up until my early teenage years, I considered myself a Bible believing Christian, and then of course as things happen, there various events happened, and I started questioning
puberty, wasn't it? It was puberty.
Well, no, it's a bit of a long story, but one of the first things that happened was my dad died when I was really young, and
I'm sorry.
That's all right. When I was going to avoid the story, but
damn it, Dan!
Jeez, I'm such an asshole.
Yeah, that's all right. No, I've told the story many times, so it's okay. Then but this particular year, well, after he died, I became very close to his mom, my grandmother on his side,
mm-hmm.
and then she had died, and yeah, it's depressing up to this point, and it hit me pretty hard. So I had a rough year that year, and every year, as part of being, heavy duty gung ho Christian, I would end up going to what was our local version of Jesus Camp. It was a fundamentalist camp, so it wasn't what if you saw the documentary, it's not too far off from that.
Wow.
And one of they used to bring us in for these various assemblies where they would have some kind of lesson for the assembly, and in this particular one, we were all settled in. I was sitting towards the back of the auditorium, and they wheeled a coffin up on the stage, and to open up the program. And
that's the way that you want to start something.
Right, exactly. Now, like I said, I was very much affected by that. Not even knowing what was going on with the coffin, just it coming out on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
I'd found out later from friends of mine that inside the coffin there was a mirror, and they wanted the kids to come up and look in the coffin and see themselves and realize that they are moral and they should accept Jesus before it's too late.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was very heavy-handed, and
childhood.
Yeah, well, that particular year, because of what had happened to me that particular year, I really first it hit me. I was really upset, and then I had this moment where I realized I don't really have a reason to be upset other than that there's a coffin up on the stage, and then I really felt manipulated. I was like, why would men of God feel the need to do this to get across the message of Jesus Christ? It made no sense. And I had a hard time trying to wrap my head around that. And I can't say that right then and there I stopped believing, because I didn't. I started reading the Bible. I started looking for answers. I started asking.
But that kicked off the process.
Yeah, it kicked off a long process. And, I went to church for a while after that. And, other things had been going on in my life and around. And it made me really start seeing things in a different light. And really questioning, because the answers I was getting weren't making any sense. So eventually, I by 15 or 16, I kind of was considering myself searching. I didn't give up on the concept of God, but I kind of gave up on organized Christianity. And I ended up with joining a pagan group and embracing that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And around that time, I ran into some atheists, and on the precursor to the internet, the bulletin boards. I was on BBS's back in the day.
Oh wow, yeah, you're old school tech.
You're dating yourself, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was on there's a network. There was this huge network called FidoNet that had thousands of what they called echoes, which were basically individual bulletin boards where people would post from one BBS, and then it would be networked to thousands of BBSs all around the world. And so in that way you could communicate, but instead of typing a message and sending it and instantly going somewhere, it got packaged up into this package of mail, which was then dialed out from the BBS that you were connected to and distributed by phone calls all around the world. And so, yeah, that was what we did back in the day. And so I found an echo on there called Holy Smoke. And like I said, I considered myself pagan at the time, but really what this echo was a religious food fight. And there was a lot of debate about evolution and creationism, and I joined in with the atheists arguing for evolution, and I learned a lot too. There was a lot of very knowledgeable atheists on that echo, and I was fair. I always kind of had a love of science, so I wasn't a slouch myself in knowing and understanding the concepts that were being thrown around.
So you know the difference between micro and macro, and what a kind is, and all that.
Well, yeah, I learned about the creationist arguments. I actually knew the scientific stuff, but I learned about more of the creationist arguments. I mean, when I was a kid and going to church, I had seen that. They had this. I don't remember what it was called, but there was a creationist video where they did the whole tornado running through a junkyard thing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
All of those stupid arguments.
Mm-hmm.
But I did know why they were wrong, and I enjoyed arguing there. And the atheists there were relatively welcoming to me. even though I was pagan, which I appreciated. But over the years, I started to see the same arguments about Christianity applying and why it's doesn't work or why it's useless and makes no sense and all the other stuff could apply to the same things that paganism embraces. And I was finding myself finding more and more difficulty with embracing religion as a concept. And then I read Dawkins' God Delusion. And that really helped me kind of rearrange how I was trying to embrace religion and really ask myself the right questions, I think, as far as what I thought about religion. And I thought, you know what, I really am an atheist. And about the same time that the Dover trial was going on, Kitzmiller v. Dover, right here in Pennsylvania, and my kids were going to school here while I was living in LA, and I was watching.
And just for our listeners, what's the Kitzmiller and Dover?
Oh, that was the trial they had about evolution in schools, right?
No, that was Scopes.
That was way back.
No. Okay, this was. Some people referred to it as Scopes too, but this was actually in the mid 2000s. I think 2005, 2006, 2007, somewhere in there.
Oh, was this when they tried to redefine creation as intelligent design?
Yeah, they had Behe down there and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, they slapped they wanted to slap or do a disclaimer in front of the biology class where what would turn out to be a superintendent would stand in front of the class and read a statement basically questioning evolution and encouraging students to go to the library and pick up a book called Of Pandas and People, which was a creationist manifesto come intelligent design manifesto. And if you aren't familiar with what happened and you want to check it out, I strongly recommend going to Nova did a program called Judgment Day in Dover, Intelligent Design Under Fire, or something like that. You can find it on the PBS website. You can watch it online for free, but it covers the trial from start to finish, and it was a beautifully done trial. I mean. The creationists were just so comically stupid, and
they even had a Republican judge, right?
What's that?
They even had a Republican judge, and they were feeling overconfident.
The judge they were definitely feeling overconfident. Judge Jones
and overcompetent too. Yes,
yeah,
both.
Judge Jones presided over that. He's with the it did come down on the side of right, and during the trial I watched it every day. I read the trial transcripts, and I was very concerned about the outcome of that trial because it was right there in Pennsylvania. That's where my kids were. They were getting an education, and I was living in LA. Well, for other reasons, I ended up moving back to Pennsylvania. But when I was here, it really inspired me to want to really get involved in activism. Because if creationists were pulling that kind of crap, I wanted to do what I can to get involved and stop them from trying that kind of stuff in the future. And that kind of snowballed into me getting involved with Pennsylvania Nonbelievers. Eventually I joined the board, and they elected me president. So
awesome, man. How long have you been doing that now?
Well, that was I joined Pennsylvania Nonbelievers in 2009. I've been running the organization since 2011.
Awesome.
Wow.
Fantastic. So, how long has PA Nonbelievers been around?
Since the late 90s. Nobody really knows for certain. I've asked. And it started out as a meeting in a library, and now we have what is going to be very shortly 7 meetups all over central Pennsylvania. We franchised a little bit out to different meetups to provide our organization umbrella for any meetup that wants us to. that we have a few guidelines we've been trying to work out, but the goal has been to provide as much as we can a unified voice for secular and atheist non-believer support here in central Pennsylvania.
That's fantastic. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know it's a little bit late there where you are. I think we're a couple hours behind you, but thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, man. I once again, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate everything you're doing. What was the website again for people who want to find out more about the convention or the conference?
If you want to check out the conference, it's atheistpa.org. singular atheistpa.org, and if you want to help us out with the food drive, you can go to gofundme.com/atheists plural fight hunger. So atheists fight hunger.
Fantastic. I'll make sure that I put those out there when I upload the podcast tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, Brian. It's been a pleasure to talk to you a little bit more and
No
learn
problem.
some things.
Thank you for inviting me.
Learn some things about you that I haven't learned while we're drinking Fireball.
Yeah.
Remember.
Yeah, I'll remember this one a lot better too. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Brian. Enjoy the rest of your night, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Have a Yangling for me.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I got a friend specifically coming back from Pennsylvania with some beer for me.
Oh, yeah? What a great guy, right? I can't believe how much he does for the community while maintaining a full-time job, a family, sitting, as co-chair for the Secular Coalition there, being president of their local group. I mean, he's kind of a dynamo.
Maintaining that hairstyle.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's got those long, luscious locks.
It looks like it smells good, too, like strawberries or something.
It does. It does, actually, yeah. No, Brian's a really, really good dude. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I think, actually, he's our first...
He's your guys' first call-in
He's
guest.
the first call-in guest.
Well, actually, no.
We spoke to Tamel by phone last week.
Oh, that's right. Tamel.
So, yeah.
Sorry, T.
He's the first long-distance, I would say, probably.
Yeah, first non-local call, for sure.
Did you guys want to talk about who's coming next week?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right.
I might throw a little teaser out there in a little bit. And maybe at the end of the show I'll throw a teaser. Because I have the little plug that I had him record at the convention. Where
I'd keep it vague and play a Tenacious D clip for him.
You're like, Jack, I want to see Kung Fu Panda, or I hear Kung Fu Panda on the show.
Jack Black. I love Jack Black. It's awesome.
No, we can't get Jack. We got to get Cage. That's not who they're getting. I'm just messing with you guys.
I saw a friend of mine posted a thing with Jack Black and Jimmy Fallon singing, what the fuck is that song? Only Words or More Than Words?
Oh, by Extreme?
Yeah. Yeah, they redid that apparently on the Jimmy Fallon show. And they're like dressed up as these guys doing the whole thing, like they redid the video kind of. It was pretty fucking funny.
Sweet.
Jack Black's a funny dude. So, yeah, if anybody is interested, and you should definitely check out the Pennsylvania State
Fuck that. Don't give them the
Atheist
option. Fucking
Humanist.
go to this place and do this.
Yeah, if you don't, you'll be missing out on a
you
great
hate
fucking
homeless
time.
people. Oh, yeah, you'll be missing out, too.
Yeah.
They got Seth Andrews, but they didn't get David Smalley, and I would love to see the cat fight between those two happen.
Between those two?
Well, every time they get in a room together, they always do like the competing, atheist podcast bitch off at each other. And it's
really?
hilarious.
I haven't noticed.
And it's just like polite assholishness to each other. It's so funny.
That is funny.
Well, and Brian was just on Dogma Debate.
Yeah, I think a week ago or earlier this week.
Yeah, earlier this week, and had a great appearance with them.
Well, and he didn't get around to talking about it, but they were talking about the steamboat thing that they're going on in the river, and how most church groups, whenever they do that, let them come onto the boat, they'll do a fundraiser and they'll kick back a certain percentage back to the state foundation that's letting them do that, or the city foundation, whatever it is. And apparently their organization is giving 100%.
Oh, wow.
Back to the city.
Nice.
Instead of just the 10%.
and keeping whatever for their church.
Yeah, the building fund
to fill the coffers.
Yeah,
to buy a G6.
Who's Tobias G6?
Creflo.
It's
Creflo,
it's also known as Mr. Dollar. So,
what was his wife's name?
Creflo's wife?
Taffy or something?
No, that was his. Wasn't that his brother?
Is that his brother?
I don't know.
They
all had
Ice-T's wife's name.
No.
Coco or something like that?
No. I'm trying to think of...
they all work at Willy Wonka's show.
God damn it, they're all Oompa Loompas.
I will be sure to post the links out there for the information that Brian gave us about where to get more information about the Pennsylvania Atheist and Humanist Conference, and also their effort to feed the hungry. That's awesome. What was it? 25 cents per meal.
Yep.
25 cents per meal per. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Feeds a person.
And so I'm looking at the GoFundMe, and yeah, they're at over $3,300 for that. That is awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's super awesome.
They're doing such fantastic work.
True that.
So, speaking of fantastic work, have you heard that a woman in Nebraska decided to file her own handwritten lawsuit against all homosexuals? That was pretty cool. Decided to file a handwritten lawsuit.
Yes.
Against all homosexuals,
every single one of them, on the behalf of Jesus.
Yes,
and I didn't see anywhere in here where she asks for a certain outcome. Like,
yeah, I was wondering why it wasn't on the behold.
Like, what is the relief that she's seeking other than just saying she wants to represent God and His Son Jesus Christ?
Well, I think that's the point.
Rebuke you in the name of the Lord.
Lord.
I've always wondered too, like, people say that different miracles happen and shit like that, and we've talked about people getting hurt. Religious people, when they get hurt, how quickly they abandon their faith and go to a science center, and then
Yes,
they justify
we have
that.
said that on this show before.
It's been on the show, and they justify this. When you ask them, okay, well, how do you justify this? Why don't you just sit home and pray? And they say, well, we've prayed in the past, and God has supplied us with doctors now, and this technology and these remedies. And
so fuck everybody that lived before.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But they try to explain it away and justify it in that sense. And so when I saw this case from this elderly woman, when I posted it on my timeline, I said, "Go home, Grandma, you're drunk." Mm-hmm. I think she's a 66-year-old woman who just apparently has a lot of free time on her hands. But if God and Jesus really wanted this lawsuit to happen, why doesn't one of them come down?
Why don't they just eliminate their opposition?
That's true too.
Never create your fucking opposition, stupid. God, that's the problem. Stupid. Well, it's so dumb. Like, why do you make your own enemy? You fucking idiot. Get rid of him right at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, not even have to wipe them out later. Just don't fucking make them in the first place.
Exactly. Fuck. Now I got to create all these imperfect people who I'm going to pretend to love, and then if they fuck up, I got to do this. No, fuck you. Just fucking get rid of them right at the beginning.
Hey, God gave you free will and free agency, guy.
It's just so fucking dumb.
But I don't know
what she wants.
That she thinks she's so special that she is the one who is called to this position of defending God and Jesus Christ.
They all think that. Yeah.
I think all the gays, all of them, need to just get a class action against her. For no reason. Maybe it's just like a penny or something like that.
I love how it's the gays, and you're like on their side.
All the gays across the world should file individual lawsuits against this woman. Yeah. How fun would that be?
Let's show her God's love.
Yeah.
So she decides that she's going to sue all homosexuals, and writes this handwritten filing. And I pulled up the Friendly Atheist blog here where Hemant writes about it. He says that an Auburn woman calling herself an ambassador for God and His Son Jesus Christ filed a lawsuit Friday against all homosexuals.
Federal lawsuit, even.
Sylvia Driscoll, 66, I got the number right, said in the suit that she is petitioning the U.S. District Court of Omaha to be heard in the matter of homosexuality.
Imagine that. It's in Nebraska.
Is homosexuality a sin or not a sin?
What about those of us that might be bi?
Those of us?
Well, I'm just saying those in the world that are.
Oh.
Yeah, those of us humans.
Us humans.
Those of us humans who may be bi, yeah. Yeah, I know plenty of bi people.
Is she against them?
Right. Yes, I'm sure she is.
I would assume that she is of the mind that she is of the mind that there are no bisexuals. That you choose one or the other.
Nope.
That your sexual identity and orientation is completely binary.
I can't remember what's the name of the scale.
So
that they have.
Kinsey. So here's
Kinsey. Matt broke it.
Yeah, I broke it. So here's an interesting. That's exactly what leads into my next question. So, if you're pretending to be Sylvia Driscoll, 66, of Omaha, Nebraska, what about people who don't sort of fall in line with the quote traditional family, who may be more or less asexual?
I've known quite a few.
I'm not gay, but I could give a fuck less about sex.
Well, then you're not actively sinning.
I guess that's
because
true.
as the LDS
yeah,
Church's
I'm better
stance
than you,
is
bitch.
that,
And I say don't fucking.
You know, being gay in and of itself isn't a sin. It's acting on those tendencies,
all right,
those predilections that will get you in trouble.
So well. Interesting. Yes,
I'm asexual and I could give a fuck less.
I couldn't. I could not give a fuck less.
Could not.
I'm fucking the least amount. I couldn't give a fuck less than I already do.
I could not possibly more than none.
Yeah. I wish I had a fuck to give.
But no,
I don't even have that
care.
many.
But no,
yeah, I don't have that many.
There are seriously no fucks to give.
So, all right. So I guess I'm good.
So,
yeah, Kinsey came back after I put it in twice, and it's like I fucking don't know. I have no idea.
I can't even remember the response. It was gay. It just was like you fall outside any.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, you broke it.
Yeah, whatever.
You broke our shit.
I think mine said I was fair to Midland. I don't know.
Fair to Midland,
Texas.
Yeah. No, not Midland, Texas, but like fair to Midland, like to the middle of the scale.
I don't know what that means.
That means I find sex sexy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, Ryan was like a super bro on that scale.
Yeah.
1.
He was a 1.
Yeah, he was like a 1 or 2. I think he was
a 1.
I think it was he was like hard 1.
Yeah, thanks. Nice. It even looks like a boner. Just a 1, hard 1, not a flaccid 1.
What would a flaccid 1 look like? An R?
Kind of like a 2.
That's not even a number.
The T-Rex arm.
Kind of like an R.
So this says Driscoll will be representing herself in the case of, and Hammond says, I'm not making this up, Driscoll v. homosexuals. Because no attorney's touching this one with a 10-foot pole.
Or a 7-inch penis.
No word yet on who's representing every gay person ever, or how they're all going to fit inside the courtroom.
I vote for Elton John.
Well, just a whole bunch of KY might help there.
Oh, good old Kentucky jelly.
That'll get them all
in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
So then Hammond posts the pictures of this handwritten lawsuit that Miss Driscoll has filed,
and she's like written it on wide rule notebook paper from high school.
Yeah, I know, and it looks like a third grader learning cursive.
Yeah, apparently she refers to the defendants as homosexuals, their given name homosexuals, and their
allies.
Their alias. I would guess that that's supposed to be alias.
Oh.
Yeah,
gay.
I would think so too.
She says that.
Wait, why is there a comma right there?
Yeah, I was seeing that
God
earlier.
and his.
I saw that on the next one.
It's the triune God. I don't know.
So that's not even an Oxford comma.
Well, the first, yeah,
that's just not right.
No, yeah,
and his son,
because there's no and, yeah. Well, after son. So the first,
no.
The opening salvo is I, Sylvia Andruskel, ambassador for plaintiffs. She's Christ's ambassador.
Yeah, she's got 3 commas. There should be 1. God and his son,
for plaintiffs,
comma, Jesus Christ.
do set forth on this 30th day of 2015 in writing this petition to the United States District Court of Omaha, Nebraska.
You sound like fucking Peyton Manning. Omaha, Nebraska, on behalf of the plaintiffs.
God, comma, and his, comma, son, comma.
On behalf of the plaintiffs...
I didn't even notice
that. Plaintiffs.
God and his, comma, son, comma, Jesus Christ.
Wish people would start calling him by his real name, Josh.
Yeah.
I, Sylvia Andruskel, ambassador for the plaintiffs, God, comma, and his, comma, son, comma, Jesus Christ. Petition your honor and the Court of the United States District Court of Omaha, Nebraska,
capital,
to be heard in the matter of homosexuality. Is homosexuality a sin?
Comma.
Or not a sin?
Comma. Not a question mark.
Yeah, and also end statement. That's the end of the sentence.
That's not even a real sentence.
No, it's not.
Defendants homosexuals. The homosexuals say that...
That's possessive defendant.
Yeah, it is. It's a possessive defendant. Yeah. These homosexuals belong to this defendant.
Mein Führer! The homosexuals,
oh my God. I can't read it.
both words capitalized, say that it's not a contraction.
When it should be.
Not a sin to be a homosexual, comma,
capital An.
Not and, but an.
And capital after a comma.
They have the right to marry,
comma,
to be parents,
comma,
and God.
You know what's funny is she doesn't even know how to fucking text, and she still can't spell.
I think this is somebody taking it a little bit too seriously when they're writing something to a judge. Be like, I think I just need to pepper this fucker with some commas.
Yeah,
and make myself sound intelligent. I'm going to put a semicolon in there somewhere.
That's probably what she only has a semicolon.
Well, and then it continues.
The homosexuals took that away from me.
So it's the homosexual. The homosexuals say that it's not a sin to be homosexual, comma, and that they have the right to marry, comma, to be parents,
comma,
and then capital and God doesn't care that they're homosexuals. Comma. Possessive use of they're homosexuals as if the homosexuals own each other because he loves them. This is just...
It's hard to read.
So if God doesn't care, what the fuck is this lawsuit about, stupid?
He doesn't care that they're homosexuals. They're homosexuals
what? What do they do? He doesn't care that they're homosexuals. What?
They're homosexuals.
Because he loves them.
Yeah.
They're like Pokemons.
Anyway, I just thought this was funny. Like, oh, Grandma. Oh, Grandma, I can't believe you actually sent that.
Yeah.
I want to be the ambassador of something. I don't know what.
The ambassador of commas.
Yes. The ambassador of commas.
I'm going to pin that to my title tonight in an email. The ambassador of the Oxford comma, and.
Yeah. The Oxford comma is something that everyone should use. AP is totally fucking wrong for not using the Oxford comma.
Okay.
I think Jan Bell agrees with us on that one, too.
Yes.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Is he over it yet?
Because fuck that guy.
No. I was thinking about him today, actually. Is he over that GMO thing or what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, totally over
I haven't heard anything about...
No, yeah, totally over it. Totally way...
So he's on board? GMOs are cool?
I don't know if I'd go that far.
So he's not over it. Then listen again, and again, and again.
Oh, you're making life difficult for me.
I know. Hey, no, give him... I'll never check mine, but give him mine and have him come at me. It's fine.
Yeah, we started Fat Camp this week, too.
Yes. I'm doing the Fat Camp.
Oh.
I'm tired of being fat, Dan.
Oh, that's what. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, I could gain a few with you. Let's do it. It is Fat Camp, right?
I'm way ahead of you, dude. I'm so in the lead.
Yeah, you're tearing it up.
No, yeah. So
This is why I've had only 3 beers instead of like 9, like last time.
and I'm drinking Coke Zero.
Coke Zero tastes good.
It does taste good, right? It's so fucking much better than Diet Coke. Fuck Diet Coke. Jesus, God damn it!
I can't dog him hard. I was going to give him shit about drinking Bud Light, but I'd had one too. And it was refreshing. Let me tell you, that was the most thirst quenching beer I've had all night.
Well, it's mostly water. So, yeah.
Exactly.
You would be right. And I would have to accept your criticism.
So here in Utah, this pained me to see an article in the Salt Lake Tribune where a Mormon Sunday school teacher was dismissed for using the LDS Church's own race essay. I don't know what I just said.
Not punctuated.
I don't know. I don't know why I just said S.A.
Yeah, that was wild.
I'm not even from Canada.
Essay.
Using Jesus Christ. Give me a minute.
This Mormon Sunday school teacher was dismissed for using church's own race essay in lessons. Essay.
Thank you. So apparently, LDS.
long story short, the guy's married.
Don't look at me.
It was funny because I was reading along and I was like, S.A. I'm like, no, we're off that bad punctuation.
I can't remember who the guy is married to, but he's married to a lady that has darker skin from a different country, and
she black.
Yeah,
she black.
Well, I just can't remember what. I don't want to.
Is he a ginger? Is this red?
I think he's gingery. Yeah.
I don't like it when people call people from other countries that are specifically from that country. Oh, they're African Americans. Maybe they're not Americans.
Yeah,
they could be British.
I don't think there's. No, she's black.
She's black.
There's nothing wrong with saying somebody's black.
She's also beautiful. Actually.
Yeah, she is really pretty.
So anyway, kids in the Sunday school class were wondering, why would your wife join a religion that didn't want her about 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, Nigerian. She is.
Okay, yeah. So she is African, and if she's married to an American, she is an American.
So the story says it all started with a question. The Mormon youth simply asked his white Sunday school teacher why the man's Nigerian wife and her family would join a church that had barred blacks from being ordained to its all-male priesthood until 1978.
That's a pretty intelligent question for Sunday school.
It really is.
From a teenager.
Yeah. Well, these are the kinds of questions that I was asking.
Yeah. They hate it.
And they're like, fucking don't ask us questions.
Yeah. Exactly.
Pray about it. You'll find an answer.
Yeah.
Why the student wanted to know was the ban instituted in the first place. To answer the teen's inquiry, Brian Dawson turned to the Utah-based faith's own materials, including its groundbreaking 2013 essay entitled Race and the Priesthood.
I hope the priesthood wins that race.
His research prompted an engaging discussion with his class of 12 to 14-year-olds. But it didn't please his local lay leaders, who removed him from his teaching assignment, even though the essay has been approved by top Mormon leaders and appears on the church's official website, lds.org.
Which is the problem with having lay people as head clergy.
It's also clearly a problem with the way the LDS Church disseminates information to its members and posts information on their fucking website.
Yeah.
Because all of their essays, these letters, the 13 letters that they've been publishing, the essays, in order to address the more sticky points of their doctrine and the church's history, none of them have fucking dates on them, so you never know when it was published. I mean, if you just go out to their website, it looks like it's been there for fucking ever. And it hasn't been. Because they don't date shit, because they don't want anybody to be able to create a timeline of their dipshittery.
Yeah,
right?
They don't want to be time-stamped, yeah.
Yeah, so they don't create a timeline, and then they don't ever post these things with any great fanfare, right? And they're not listed on their front page or anything. They just kind of float it out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the afternoon turd. Like, this is something I'm just going to put out there and flush away and go about my business for the rest of the day.
I'm outside.
Do a little bit of paperwork, and because it's an afternoon poop, I'll probably need to clean up a little bit more later. Because the sphincter's not quite closed tightly afterwards.
You should make sure we go into great detail about this.
There will be some leakage that I'll have to clean up later.
Is this?
Well, were they Olestralays or were they? Oh, sorry.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints declined to comment on the handling of the Sunday school incident, but reiterated its efforts to spread the word about the race article and its other essays on Mormon history and theology.
That just makes me feel like they didn't say a single word. They just had tight lip and they just pointed at a fucking computer screen like,
Refer to book.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that, lassie?
No, not bark. Book.
Well, and part of these, the one that I still, like, you know, the blacks in the priesthood, sure, that's fucking crazy. Everybody knows that. The one that still blows me away is the LDS Church posting an essay saying that they believe in the literal truth and story of the Noachian flood. Like, according to LDS doctrine, as published
wacky
in
right
one
in it. I mean,
as published in one of their recent essays, that is God's literal truth in the Bible. It's not allegory. It's not.
Well, not only that, but if you want to refer them to Mormon theology, then what they're going to find is that black people were less valiant before coming to Earth, and that's why they were cursed, quote, with that skin. Is that really what you want them to uncover when they've got questions already?
Yeah.
No, you fucking morons.
Well, so apparently when they were talking about even creating these essays and releasing them, there was, you know, huge amounts of dissent within the quorum of the 12 as far as, you know, if we put these out there, we're going to lose a lot of members, people will start questioning more, and then other people saying, well, if we don't address it, they're going to have people finding this information elsewhere. This is a way for us to present our side of the case and give them this information and say, oh no, we're being open and forthcoming about this information.
Yeah.
And of course, they're not really being all that open and all that forthcoming.
No,
if they were, then it would be on their front page. They would be dating it. They would be passing it out to all of their congregations,
and they would address it.
Yeah, absolutely. They wouldn't just float it out on their fucking website as
like
if it's been there all the time. Yeah, as like an afternoon poop. The LDS Church has.
Is that a thing? Is that something I have
maybe
to look
not for
forward
everybody?
to in 10 years?
I try to get a work poop in at least once a week.
Yeah, just once. Well, I'm only in the office once a week, so.
Oh.
Like, all of my poops are work poops, really, because I'm working from home all
I wish
the
I
time.
could telecommute. I can't do that.
Oh, it's so nice. The story continues that the LDS Church, quote, has communicated the value of these essays in many ways, including direct correspondence to priesthood leaders, end quote, spokesperson Doug Anderson says.
Is that the whitest name of all time? Doug Anderson with two E's.
S-E-N, yeah.
Maybe Whitey Whiteson. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Cracker McHerringbone.
Yeah.
Joseph Smith.
Yeah, I guess so.
John Smith.
In addition, church-owned media, social media sharing, and Facebook have been effective in making these essays more widely available. The essays are also translated into numerous languages.
Oh, well, good for you.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, well, you know,
thanks, Bob.
They send people. Yeah, they send people all over the world on their own dollar to fucking learn these languages. So of course,
yeah.
Let me tell you, that Ukrainian my brother-in-law knows is really using. He's really using that in the real world.
Yeah, I bet. Also, we use that "good for you" way more aggressively than Bob ever has. We were all just like, "Good for you."
Sounded like we were attacking somebody with a fork. Yeah,
his is much funnier.
Nonetheless, the essay on race, says Tamu Smith, co-author.
What was that about?
Pacific Islander, I bet.
Oh yeah, probably. Co-author of Diary of Two Mad Black Mormons. Nope, not Polynesian.
Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
Is not all that familiar to the LDS faithful and often their congregational leaders. Quote, the majority of the church doesn't know anything about it. Actually, he didn't say anything. The majority of the church doesn't know about it, says Smith, who has traveled the country for book signings and speaking events. My former stake president in Provo would not have known about it either if I hadn't called it to his attention.
Your stake president.
Yeah, which highlights what I said earlier, that they're not fucking giving this to their church church leaders, to the fucking church leaders on the ground,
area authorities. Yeah, but it also highlights the fact that people are believing shit without knowing what the fuck they're believing.
Yeah, well, and they don't care to investigate
No, they
it
don't.
at all. And even
It's
the
just
church's
true,
leaders,
and I know it.
Yeah, even the church's leaders. Well, I'll just read the rest of the story here. Despite the essay, sorry, I'm giggling about it.
Trying to get crazy with this, eh?
Despite the essay being included in the latest curriculum for LDS high school and college students, she says, quote, many seminary teachers for high school, institute college teachers, and even some people teaching at Brigham Young University are blind to it, even when you point things out to them.
No!
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Even when you show an LDS person, no, this is what happened, they go,
Joseph Smith had how many wives?
Well, that's what it
That's
says
a lie.
now, but they may just reverse that later. They'll probably edit it later. I mean, it used to say white and delightsome, and it doesn't anymore, so who knows, really? 5 years from now, 6 months from now, 5 days from now, it could be different. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
I just believe that the Lord wants us to ask questions and challenge Him, and if we pray, I know He'll give us the answers.
No, I don't see...
The other part of this story that I fucking love continues later, but we'll get there. What you just said reminded me of it. It's great the essay is on the church website, Smith says, but people don't believe it. Why don't people believe it? It's on the church's fucking official website.
Because it's not. It's because the church's official position is not honest. They're believing the words that are coming out of their mouths, which are not addressing this point. And so when they read it, they think, nah, fuck that. That's not what I want to believe, and it's not what they've ever said. So.
It's nothing that I've ever heard, therefore it's not true.
Exactly.
And I just want to direct people to go look for Thomas Monson's bad lip reading. Someone did a bad lip reading for him.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's so awesome.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's really, really good. It was neither signed nor penned by the governing First Presidency, nor has it been mentioned, alluded to, or footnoted in speeches by LDS authorities at the faith's semi-annual general conferences, which is another part of the fucking problem. Like I said, they just float it out there like an afternoon turd. It's not quote unquote official doctrine. We just put it on the website. You can't tell me that that's the church's actual stance. Who wrote it? When did they post it?
And so they removed it. They removed
Are we
the
going to really
Sunday.
have a record for poop jokes while I'm standing in as producer of this?
So they removed the guy from his Sunday school teaching, and they didn't reinstate him afterward, based on them being wrong about it. And he's kind of saying that, yeah, I'm going to keep teaching the kids that this is the kind of documentation that's out there for this thing. And the bishop's like, well, I'm getting a feeling from the Spirit saying that you need to not do that. And he's like, well, I'm getting a feeling from the Spirit that I should be doing this. And so it's just like, okay, you guys are getting contradictory messages from the same Martian from Kolob. I mean,
Oh yeah. Well, it says that Smith is all in favor of speaking openly about Black Mormon history, especially at church meetings, and acknowledging mistakes, even by LDS leaders. Quote, you would think bishops and stake presidents would have a vested interest in telling the truth about history, she says. Sometimes they act like they don't because they're afraid. How disingenuous and how infirm in your faith do you have to be afraid of something that is announced on the church's official fucking website?
No, I'm going to revise that. How fucking to be afraid of anything? Of anything. You have the creator of the entire fucking universe on your side. What could you possibly do?
And your church is true and correct and perfect.
your church is the rest.
What are you afraid of?
How could it not withstand any fucking criticism put forth about it?
Yeah, what are you so worried about? Jesus.
I just don't
Well,
want
not Jesus. He's on your side. But I mean, there can't possibly be anything unless you don't fully believe it.
I'm just afraid that I'll come out looking bad.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but at some level, fear has to be, if any true believer has a fear of anything in that element, in that area, they can't possibly be a true believer. There's got to be a gap in their testimony in that area, or there would never be a reason to fear anything.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
this guy does everything.
If you're a true believer and you're firm in your faith and know that it's true, then nothing said against it could ever shake it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Ever. Not just words, action. Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is eternity with the most powerful thing that's ever been. If you're on his side, why do you fear anything ever?
Yeah.
That's just fucking
death.
ridiculous.
Death, because it's...
Especially death.
It's your time.
Yeah,
He's calling you back.
You're going to go hang out with J-Rock and Big Daddy.
Yeah, because Earth is nothing but a
testing ground, a proving ground, whatever the hell.
It's a temporal, fleeting moment of time. You get to sit right next to.
It's a place to wipe your feet before the real life begins.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I found out they baptized Hitler
several times, actually. I think.
Yeah.
So we get to party with Hitler
and Frank and
in the afterlife. What the fuck?
Well, only if he's chosen to accept the invitation.
Yeah, it's up to him. But still, why wouldn't you?
When you're presented with it.
Right, so now heaven's going to be full of Mormons, Jews, and Hitler. That'll be a party.
And a shitload of atheists.
So last fall in Honolulu, Dawson, a BYU Hawaii graduate and a returned Mormon missionary,
S.A.,
faced a gaggle of teens in his Sunday school class.
A gaggle, wow.
He heard the question and took a breath. You know, he began. We could...
Dude, you're going to go into a coma.
We could rely on the personal witness of believing black members, but there is also a church-approved document the class could read together. It's called Race in the Priesthood.
That sounds like so much fucking fun.
And
I know.
And was published December 2013 on the Faith's own website.
Can't we just finger paint or make macaroni art
This
for
student,
Mom?
I remember doing the macaroni art and fucking shit tons of glitter. Like, I look back on those times, like, I used so fucking much glitter when I was in the LDS church. Like, I wonder if that's what made me an LGBT ally.
I've got 3 little girls at home. I've got glitter fucking everywhere.
No, it was okay. I knew you were going there from the minute you started emphasizing it.
Come use my guest toilet. There's glitter all around it from the kids playing around.
Well, no, okay. If you're
fabulous,
if your afternoon turds are glitter, that's something totally different.
The students eagerly agreed, so the following week Dawson arrived armed with the essay and several articles from the church's official Ensign magazine about early black Mormons, including Elijah Abel, Jane Manning James, and Green Flake, which is just a cool name. It sounds like a pot. It sounds like a pot.
It does sound like a pot. Do you blaze the crons?
How many marijuanas have you smoked today?
Jeez.
I have smoked 3 Green Flake.
That's on fleek, let me tell you.
They learned that Abel was ordained to the priesthood.
I want a glitter bowl.
They learned that Abel was ordained to the priesthood during the time of LDS founder Joseph Smith. James had walked across the plains and had sought temple access unsuccessfully for decades, and Flake was among the first Mormon settlers to enter the Salt Lake Valley. All 3 remained committed Latter-day Saints throughout their lives. The essay noted the priesthood ban was rooted more in earthly racism during Brigham Young's era than heavenly revelation. And I think we've talked about this before when I said that in this essay they basically threw Brigham Young under the bus and said, oh no, he was just a giant fucking racist. You know,
Brigham
mortal man not speaking as a prophet, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but except for their spiritual doctrine still says that black people are less valiant in Kingdom of
they
Heaven.
have tried to make amends and change some of the text within their documents. Like I said, it's no longer white and delightsome, it's pure and delightsome.
Yeah.
Didn't Brother Brigham want to convert the moon people?
Yes.
Well, and he actually made an amendment to Joseph Smith's moon people and said that there were inhabitants of the sun as well.
Well, North Korea went there last week, so
right. Yeah, they can verify.
They can verify.
Mission accomplished.
So pointing that out, that
I don't think we have any listeners in North Korea.
Probably not.
North Korea's best Korea.
North Korea is best Korea.
Best Korea. Pointing that out, and that future missionaries would or should understand this history, was where Dawson's troubles began. After the class, students told their families about the conversation. One parent complained to Dawson's bishop. Complained that this guy is telling them what's available out on the LDS.org website.
Let me teach you some history. I don't agree with his history.
Anything...
Is this in the Preach My Gospel?
Yeah. Quote, anything regarding black history before 1978 is irrelevant, Dawson recalls his bishop saying, and a moot point.
Interesting.
It doesn't matter if we went on murderous rampages, killing every black person in sight. It's irrelevant. So now they can hold the priesthood, and everything is happy and gay.
Yeah, except
it's not really gay because we don't like the gays either.
This is the Hinckley style argument.
That just reminds me of the Family Guy episode where they go visit like Austria, and they notice that there's pages missing out of the history of Austria during like the years of 1938 and 1940. Nothing happened then. Everybody was on vacation.
Everything was fine?
Everything was fine. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
So after being told that anything before 1978 is irrelevant and a moot point, the former teacher says his bishop insisted during a February interview that Dawson agree never again to bring up the essay or discuss Black Mormon history in the class. Dawson declined, even after believing he would be released from teaching the class for disobedience. Quote, if the Holy Spirit guides me in a way that involves these multitude of documents, he asked the bishop, who am I to resist the enticing of the Spirit? And this is when I told you this is the part of the story that I fucking love, right? So the bishop replies, according to Dawson, the Spirit is telling me to tell you not to use those documents, and so it went.
God, now I feel like an asshole for bringing that up.
Dawson says he reminded his local LDS leaders that he simply was responding to a sincere question, not creating some alternative curriculum. My emotions were high, he recalls. I felt confused and didn't know what was going on. That's when his Nigerian wife stepped in. Dun, dun,
and there's a heartbreak in the story at that point.
So that whole bit there, like, oh no, I feel the Spirit calling me, and the bishop's like, no, well, I feel the Spirit telling me to tell you that your Spirit calling is fucking wrong. Which is the whole, God damn it.
Yeah.
The LDS Church for a long time back in Joseph Smith's days was all about personal revelation and all that until people started getting competing revelations. Then it was like, oh no, we should have a main prophet, seer, and revelator. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah. You guys should pray and feel the Spirit, but the Spirit won't talk directly to you necessarily. They'll talk to me, okay? Because I'm the man. I'm the head honcho.
Yeah.
I'm the one who will speak personally to the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
Ah.
And it's all
drugs are bad.
So with the threat of being dropped from teaching, he and his wife, Ezine Dawson, agreed to meet with the bishop and their LDS stake president, who oversees a number of Mormon congregations in Hawaii. Ezine's parents joined the LDS Church in Nigeria in the early 1980s. So, just after the LDS Church said, God changed his mind, and now blacks can hold the priesthood.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to start going to all these other countries.
Yeah. This will make it so much easier to recruit all the blacks. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah.
The family members moved to Hawaii, where they were sealed.
In quotes, it says, for some reason.
Well, this is from the Salt Lake Trib, so they're being snarky as shit here. So.
Well, it's Peggy Stack. She's usually not very snarky.
Oh.
A few years later, as an eternal family in the LDS temple. I would have put the quotes around eternal family versus sealed. As a young girl, Ezine didn't even think about the now disavowed reasons for the church's previous prohibition on blacks. Because they probably didn't fucking talk to him about it when they came as missionaries to their home.
Of course they didn't.
That they were fence sitters in a premortal world, or that they bore the curse of Cain until she was a teen.
Yeah, both of those, fence sitters and curse of Cain, are in quotations.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be, because that's what the fucking doctrine says.
Yeah. Well, maybe she's quoting doctrine.
Fair enough.
Quote, even I used some of those reasons, she says now. I didn't know they were false doctrine. What were false doctrine?
They're not.
No,
That's in your
those
doctrine.
are
That's
in the doctrine. That's in your book.
Yep.
Ezine spent her high school years in upstate.
In fact, I'll bet you that the bishop may be thinking that this man doesn't even have the right to revelation because he married a curse.
Ooh, that could be. I mean, I know that a lot of LDS
I don't
church
call them
members
that, by the way. I'm just saying.
No, yeah, I know that a lot of LDS church members,
so bad.
even after 1978, are very upset. I mean, there was a huge commotion in the church when that happened, right? Where they said, okay, no, God changed his mind. Blacks can now hold the priesthood. There were a lot of people who left the church over that because they're like, no, but I'm racist. Brr, 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 brr.
Yep. I'm shocked they didn't have separate entrances and separate water fountains at the temple still.
Oh no, you should be nice. You should be nice to them, because if you're nice and they follow Christ's teachings, then they too can become white and delightsome.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to offend a potential white person.
Yeah. Azine spent her high school years in upstate New York and felt accepted in her Mormon congregation there. As a freshman at BYU, however, big shock, she experienced the sting of racism from her church community for the first time.
I find that hard to believe that was the first time. I bet you there were a shitload of microaggressions before that even happened.
Well, but I mean, I am not at all shocked that
your
she
hair
found,
is so curly
like,
and wavy. It's so nice.
Like
I wish I had your hair.
Overt racism at BYU. My quote, my freshman roommate from Pleasant Grove refused to talk with me, she says. She was uncomfortable being around me. I mean, how does anybody talk to a black person, right? I mean, don't they have a completely different language? And fuck. Today, Azine is married with 4 children, ages 7, 5, 3, and 1, and finds the church's essay on race helpful at explaining the past. Now I have resources, she says, to teach my children.
Those are all odd numbers.
Sorry. And nicely spaced, 2 years apart.
And they're all prime numbers also.
Now I have resources, she says, to teach my children. That is why her husband's exchange with the bishop was so baffling. It didn't make sense to me, Azine says. He was not teaching black history, he was teaching Mormon history.
Yep.
Which, right there, seems really telling to me, right? She's saying that she would expect church leaders to have a problem with her husband teaching black history. As a black woman in the LDS church, she would expect her church leaders to have a problem with her husband teaching black history.
To whiten delights
How
kids.
fucking sad is that?
Yeah, I guess so.
He was not teaching black history, he was teaching Mormon history.
I took that a different way. I mean, I think there could be some of that in there, but I think her point is he's in church, he's not teaching black history, he's teaching church history.
Yeah.
That's how I took it. But yeah, I mean, you could be right.
Yeah. I would bet it's more in line with what
I'd be fucking jazzed as him. I'd be like, great, I don't have to do this stupid calling anymore. That's awesome.
Eventually, their local LDS leaders agreed that Dawson's materials were legitimate, but decided he shouldn't teach them anyway.
Okay, so now how do you decide that's the case? Because if they're legitimate, they're from who? Who are they from? Joseph Smith, Jesus? And now a bishop is going to say, well, now never mind you that.
It was so the church's argument is that it was too much for the kids, and church was not the right venue for the discussion about church history.
Okay.
Don't you dare come to us with questions.
Brian Dawson's term
suffer.
as teacher thus ended, but the conversation about race and the priesthood will continue. Quote, our children are going to deal with this, his wife says. Lots of members are going to have to deal with it and talk about it. If people open their eyes to LDS black history on their own, they leave the church, Tamu Smith says. But if we help open their eyes, they stay with us. If I can be there to help guide them and tell them why the LDS Church isn't a horribly fucking racist organization, maybe they'll stay. If they find out that the LDS Church is a horribly fucking racist organization all by themselves, they're probably going to leave.
Yeah, which means we don't get their fucking money.
10%.
She would rather hear the truth, Smith says, from someone who wants to keep me in the faith.
Oh, baby, only you know how to lie to me the way I need to be lied to.
Black Mormons are like log cabin Republicans. Like, I don't fucking understand it.
Yeah.
She would rather hear the truth, Smith says, from someone who wants to keep me in the faith. Like, perhaps a Sunday school teacher, Peggy Stack adds at the very end of the story. Yeah. This story bothered me for so many fucking reasons that I think I kind of went through there while I was reading it. But, I mean, for active leaders at a local level of the LDS Church to say, you can't teach that. Well, but it's now official church doctrine, really.
Yeah, I know,
it's out on their website. This is what they want us to start teaching. This is what they're promoting as the actual history of the church. Yeah, well, don't do that. Still don't do that.
Telling me that it's not going to be good for our
I know the Spirit told you one thing, but the Spirit is telling me to tell you that the Spirit thinks that the Spirit you're hearing is fucking wrong.
Look, the rule book clearly states this is the answer to that question. Yeah.
And I hold a higher calling than you, so obviously I'm correct.
Yeah.
Like, that's just
so fucking passive aggressive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Every bit about that just fucking bothered me. Anyway, I think that's about time for tonight. Yeah, we're a couple hours in at least. Yeah, a couple
2 on
hours.
the dot.
Yeah, nice. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a little bit of a teaser that I will be posting at the very, very end of the show. I will be playing a song after we close out here, and then at the very, very, very end of that song, I'm going to post a little teaser about who we're going to have on the show next week. So be sure that you stick around and listen to the whole goddamn thing. Or just listen next week and you'll figure out who it is anyway, because they'll be here. Fuck, I don't know. Do what you want. I'm not your fucking ecclesiastical leader, for Christ's sake. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Bye.
Choices always were a problem for you. What you need is someone strong to guide you. Deaf and blind and dumb and born to follow. What you need is someone strong to guide you. Like me, like me. If you want to get your soul to heaven, trust in me now, don't you judge or question. You are broken, now and faith can heal you. Just do everything I tell you to do. Deaf and blind and dumb and born to follow. What you need is someone strong to guide you. Deaf and blind and dumb and born to follow. Let me lay my holy hand upon you. My God's will becomes me when He speaks. He speaks to me. He has needs like I do. We both want to rape you. Jesus Christ, why don't you come save my life now? Open my eyes, light me with your light now. Jesus Christ, why don't you come save my life now? Open my eyes, light me with your light now. Get your soul to heaven. Trust in me now. Don't you judge or question. You are broken now, but faith can heal you. Just do everything I tell you to do. Jesus Christ, why don't you come save my life now? Open my eyes, blind me with your light now. Jesus Christ, why don't you come save my life now? Open my eyes, blind me with your light now. Deaf and blind and dumb and born to follow. Let me lay my holy hand upon you. God's will becomes me when He speaks. He speaks through me. He has needs like I do. We
This is Lucian Greaves with the Satanic Temple, and you're listening to Godless Revolution.